So you've heard our show, right? Yeah, and thus you're no doubt aware that the FCC has recently cleared the way for airlines to allow expanded use of electronic devices during flights. Now, most reaction to this seems to have been hugely negative, mainly because of the social etiquette problems of listening to someone have a phone conversation in close quarters. What this seems to indicate is that while just about everyone relies pretty heavily on some kind of smartphone type device every day, nearly everyone seems to also agree that others who use them can be really annoying. There's kind of an unwritten rule of social etiquette that says when you can use your cell phone and when you cannot use your cell phone. So how do you deal? And by the way, this is not just with cell phone users. I brought that up because we've talked about it before, but just with difficult people in general. Monica Wofford is CEO of Contagious Companies and a well-known leadership development expert, and she's also the author of a great book, Make Difficult People Disappear. And she joins us now on the Boomers Lifeline to talk a little bit about this. Hey, Monica, welcome to the program. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much. I think maybe I should send you a copy of Make Difficult People Disappear.
Well, I got to tell you, I there was a little free preview of it on Amazon. I was really intrigued by the title of it, and so I started getting into it as I'm reading the intro, and all of a sudden it cut me off. So I said, well, doggone it. That's not fair. I'm going to have to get the book one way or the other. So I'll buy it. I don't care.
They were being difficult.
I tell you, what's the matter? I want everything free. I'm kidding. But you know, you do say in your book that most people don't want to know why others are difficult or how they became that way, but rather how to make them stop. So let me just ask you point blank: what can a person do?
It's a great question, and you're right. Most people don't want to deal with difficulty. They want to make them frickin' go away, ... without going to jail. So here are a few ideas for when you're dealing with these rude cell phone callers who, in large part, are not aware oftentimes that they are being rude or being loud or how loud their voice is getting, particularly if it's a heated conversation. First and foremost, it's important to recognize that most of the people who are going to egregious social faux pas, as we've come to know it, are going to be extroverted folks who are looking to either get something done or in some way, shape, or form bring attention to themselves. So the moment that you say, dude, hush, lower your voice, get quiet, walk away, you're inciting a problem because these are folks who are on a mission to get something done and also value control. So the more you try to control the situation, often the worse it gets. Therefore, you can make it their idea. For example, say something to them like, oh, are you sure you want me to be a part of this private conversation? Or even offer to help, and this may not be the most natural course many of us would take, but certainly you could say, do you want me to step away so that you can have a private conversation? And if you offer either of those options in a sincere tone of voice to the best of your ability, what you'll find is that the vast majority of these folks will suddenly realize, oh my gosh, I'm either talking too loud or, no, you should not hear what I'm about to say. And they'll reduce their volume or they'll walk away. There are a couple of other options that we might use as well, but those I think should help for the most cases in which this is happening. Hopefully it won't start happening on the airplanes, as you have mentioned, because a lot of us frequent flyers have real issue with that, I think.
Monica, I have a question because this is one that has just, first of all, I'm so confused by it. I can't even wrap my head around it. You're in the ladies' room, phone rings, and you hear 3 stalls down, somebody answering in the ladies' room. Okay, how do you, is that a good time when you're out there?
It's fascinating.
Oh, it's stunning to me. Is that a good time to have a little bit of a face-to-face, not confrontation, but a communication? How do you know when it's time to, put that caller in his or her place, or at least bring up something that really is egregious and should not be done?
Great question. I have heard women, because I don't spend a lot of time in the men's room, but I've heard women in the women's room say things that make it very obvious they're talking to clients on the phone, in the stall, and then you'll hear, as they flush, and I just think, oh my God, have you lost your mind? However, that's their issue and their phone call, and really not something that I'm going to get involved in. Now, I'm as non-shy as they come, and I have no problem having those kinds of conversations, but I don't find it to be really any of my business what they choose to have other people they're talking to here in the background. If it bothers me, quite honestly, that's my issue. That's not their issue,
Okay.
and that might be my unusual, unique take on those things. But in other scenarios, certainly it's appropriate for you to say something. If someone is talking on a phone in an area which should be quiet, if you go to any airport, there are airport lounges for frequent flyers, part of certain clubs and airline affiliations, that are labeled now as quiet rooms. And if someone's talking in one of those rooms, you'll have any number of a dozen people walk up and say, "Excuse me, this is a quiet room. Please take your call outside." Mm-hmm. But if, again, you are approaching them in a confrontational fashion, be prepared to get one back, because many times what other folks are doing is really none of our business. If it's bothering you, your primary recourse is to remove yourself from the situation.
Monica
if you're
Wofford,
at a store, you may not be able to get away, so then use some of the other methods, or try empathy. Sometimes being empathetic to the person's unawareness, classic oblivion, and frankly being fascinated by how someone could be that oblivious to the rest of the world.
And they are. And
will at least keep your blood pressure from soaring.
Well, they are. Now your book is Make Difficult People Disappear. It's Monica Wofford. Tell us just a little bit about your book, where people can get it and all that. Because I am going to buy it. I am going to download it. Because honestly, this could be one of the most useful books I've read all year.
And I am honored by that. It is a how-to manual. It's written as a story. It's very, very easy to read. And if it tells you anything, the star character's name is Sybil. So there's a little personality dynamic.
I wonder, how did I not make that connection? Sybil, of course.
That's beautiful.
What is wrong with me?
All the difficult people, they're all Sybil.
So
what we find to be true is that people have purchased this book, put it on their dining room table, and the entire behavior of the family changes.
Ooh.
The boss puts it on their desk and never has to say a word, but the employees suddenly change their behavior.
we can go to Amazon.com. Is that right? I only got 30 seconds. Amazon.com.
Amazon.com, anywhere books are sold, or MakeDifficultPeopleDisappear.com if you want an autographed copy.
Oh,
Nice.
wow. Hey, that's very cool. You can get it on your Kindle and all that. Hey, Monica Wofford, this is great. Thanks very much for the insight. I appreciate it. Wow. That's all right, thanks.
Oh, my gosh.
Make Difficult People Disappear. Well, I knew when I saw it that I had to at least take a look at the first few pages, and yeah, it's fascinating. But I like the idea. You know, put it on them. Do you want me to leave while you have this private conversation? Except you got to.
You have to couch it a certain way.
I don't want to do it with a shiv in my hand because it just get out. But that's the kind of guy I am. Hey, we're out of time. Folks, thanks for joining us. BoomersBrainTrust.com. I'm Johnny Dean for Dinah Smith and the entire gang. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching.